Hi, I'm Alan Tower, and I'm the owner of a photo studio in Spokane, Washington, creatively named Alan Tower Photo. And I'm going to use this little tutorial to show you how you can use the NIK software to speed up your Photoshop developing process, which can really increase your efficiency and workflow. I'm going to start just by opening up a raw image here of a truck I took, abandoned truck in the snow. I monkeyed with this slightly in terms of especially opening up some shadows and making the snow a little bit brighter. But I'm not doing a lot of camera raw editing or Lightroom editing because I really don't need to. I'm going to show you just how quickly I can transform from this original picture to a finished picture in the NIK, using the NIK software from Google. I think you'll find it's pretty quick. This particular image was not taken with a long exposure, and it was not taken with a high ISO, so it really has very low noise anyway. But the Define 2 is a simple program that you can run at the beginning of the process, and it will analyze the program, analyze the picture, and look with an automatic profile to reduce noise, and you just hit OK, and it only takes a few seconds and it renders that. So it's, at least with a quick computer, it only takes a few seconds, and then that it's worth just kind of spending that couple of seconds for that to occur. And now if we go into the Color Efex 4 program, which is going to be in the little drop-down menu that you'll get when you install the NIK software, and we'll click Pro Contrast. The particular filters that are listed in my favorites list are simply listed there because I have gone over and clicked the star beside the name of the filter, and since I like Pro Contrast and use it often, I've clicked it and it's lit up, so it shows on that. And what my computer is doing right now is it's just reading through that preset image, and then it will open up in Pro Contrast. And here I can slide the correct contrast, but you notice that's really it's going to increase contrast, but it's really making the truck really dark. In this case, the dynamic contrast, which doesn't really have that same effect, is going to be my preference. I'm going to go that direction with this. I'm going to go using more dynamic contrast to increase the contrast. And then if I add the filter button, if I hit that, that means I can add another filter and it won't overwrite Pro Contrast that I've already done. Now I'm going to go over and click on Detail Extractor, and that really is one of the key things I think that's going to make this picture look good. Is I'm going to have a pretty high intensity detail extraction on this, and that looks about right to me. And now I'll add another filter. I think I'll put a vignette on it, and of the vignettes I like to use the lens vignette, and you can see this is awfully dark, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to just skip that one. I'm going to turn it off, and I'm going to close this and go say OK. Because if I put the vignette on now, I'm going to still have my truck kind of lost in the middle of a very large image, and I think it's always best if you make the point of interest in an image fill the image more. So I'm going to crop this, and I certainly don't mind cropping because shooting with the 5 DSR, I've got lots of pixels to spare. In fact, and lots of image size to spare. So this actually, if anything, just makes the image easier to work with. If I had done this at the beginning, it probably wouldn't have been such a bad idea. I'll go with it there. Give it a crop. and make sure the delete cropped pixels is not checked, so that way if you want to change it you could. And now that I've given it that crop, I'm going to go back and reopen the vignette lens filter on Color Efex 4. I'll click that one, and then with the vignette lens, you'll notice I can make it a real dark lens, and I can change its shape, and I can do all that. But I also can go this direction, and this is what I want to do. I want a white vignette. I know with Photoshop, certainly you can make a vignette in any color you want, but I like white for the snow, and I think that'll look good. I'd like to have a little bit less of an effect up in this corner where the truck is kind of in there. So I'm going to hit this control point minus and hit that over here, and then I'll just bring that down till it's the size I want. And now by using the selective control point, I've been able to adjust that vignette really precisely in almost no time. Now I click OK, and we've got a vignette on the picture that matches what I'd like it to be. And now let's increase our size of the picture a bit so we can get in here and see. In fact, let's just go a little bit larger. And I'm going to use just a spot healing brush to remove this kind of distracting piece of grass. I think it'll work fine for this. And sometimes with a spot healing brush, if you need to do a couple of things, but like, you know, a little bit rough edge or something when you're in a location like this doesn't matter. But if I want to, I could switch, grab the clone stamp and throw a little black right back where that little rough edge was, and I'd be done. And that's really all it takes. I've got rid of that, and I don't need to try to clean up all the blemishes on the truck, because actually, of course, that's part of what makes the truck look good. So that's really all we have to do to get this image completed. I am going to put a watermark on it. I have a custom brush in my brush tool. If I just come in here, I've arranged it so the custom brush is my third brush because I use it often. And I'll just apply that right there, and the image is finished and ready to save. To give you an idea of what these few minutes have accomplished, we started out at this point, which is, and actually we started out with it uncropped, but this still shows the cropping. But this is where we started from, and this is where we ended up. And obviously I could spend a lot more time on this image if I wanted to. I could go in and use burn dodge layers and so on. I could do all kinds of special lighting effects, and actually I can do all kinds of color toning and all sorts of things with the NIK as well. But I'm just showing you how you can use a few of the various filters and take it into a presentable image in very little time. And one of the things that's important about that is for those of us who have, social media, Facebook demands or this or that, and we need to produce things out, or we have clients where they're not paying us a fortune, so they want a bunch of images. We've got to be able to process images in a way that it doesn't take 3 and 4 hours per image to get a finished product. And that is the beauty of the NIK software, is that it lets you get a very presentable finished product with minimal time investment. I'll be doing more of these instructional videos, but I think that this is probably sufficient for this one, and we'll catch you next time.